Okay, coaches, this session, although it's not going to have specific homework that's laid out the same for everyone, I want you to take it all in, observe what happens to you as you listen, just take notes about what might apply to you on a deeply personal level, and apply anything that comes from that as we move forward. Okay, I'll get a little more specific about that as we go. Okay, bear with me. I'm still having a sore back, so I'm doing this best I can. Okay, also I was gonna have some interesting graphics come through that I don't have right now. So I'm gonna talk this out to you. It's going to be a positioning strategy session. So look, before we did the inner positioning, right? And you created your shield so that you could feel solid in who you were as you were going forward. We're gonna take that idea now and I'm gonna talk to you about how you're gonna apply that as we get ready, as we prepare, right? To put ourselves in on our branding, to take it to another level. And when I say another level, this is gonna be unique to everyone. Okay, so I'm trying this session out. I didn't want to not put it in because you guys, the way you've been vibing, I know we can go here, and I just want to see what happens for each of you and get some feedback about it. I don't know if I'll add this to my future, renditions of this course or not. But here's the deal. We're going to be going from the inner positioning that you've done to navigational. And the way each of you traverse the universe is going to be different than everybody else, depending on where you're at, right? Your consciousness level, how you see the world, all of that, okay? And so, in case I need this, we'll erase here. Not going to have a lot of graphics and notes for you. I'm going to talk this out a little bit, okay? So, look, you know that I'm not about the mundane, right? This course is not about checking off the boxes, right? Just the building blocks, the mundane business building stuff that all the experts say to do. Like, do 21 days of lives, create this kind of message, an XYZ statement, all these different things. Create this group, create this course. They miss all the deep aspects. They miss the boat, and that's why there is not movement. That's why coaches keep paying for all these courses and they're not getting clients. They're not having happen what they want in manifesting their business, right? So I am not about that, okay? I'm not about that business building, mundane business building BS, I would call it, that's out there. And I don't mean it to be BS. It is stuff we need to know, but we need that content within this greater context, okay? So that's what I want to give you, because I want you to be able to do 3 things in this journey, right? This is about fast track, like I've told you, right? It's about the fast track. You're not just going to A to B, but I'm trying to give you all of the knowledge, the information you need, the context and the content you need to know how you're going to be able to go through all of it, and then to know your shortcut way through it, right? We can get a little esoteric here and think about things like, what's pumping in my mind is things like the Hitchhiker's Guide Through the Universe or something like that. It's like, who are you and what's your way through, right? So yes, this is your way through with creating your business, right? And the epiphanies and the enlightening feelings, the aha moments and epiphanies that you get that help you unlock your special magic, that helps you know your way through all the levels. It will help you when we create the business for you, the company for you, but it's also your way of life. Like, this will be what you use in your relationships. This is going to be your signature way of moving through everything there is throughout the time and space of your journey, right? Whatever you're applying it, right? So the application is vast. It's not just in your business, okay? Just like when someone comes to you for whatever your niche is, we know as coaches, there's the bigger picture, right? It's going to be about mindset. It's going to be about boundaries. It's going to be about communication. It's going to be about, all these different aspects, not just what they think on the front end of their need they're coming for. Same thing with us. This is a lot bigger than what we might even be imagining. And so I'm going to broaden that lens because I want you to know and be able to the best of how you can interpret all of this, go through the fast track, but also do the deep dive. Okay, also the deep dive, so that you're not going through the mundane level, surface level way of creating a business, but you're really digging deep into who you are, making this not just about a business, right? This is about life purpose. This is about what you're here for, right? This is about your life work, probably, if you've come here, okay? So it's about fast track, deep dive, and high vibe. Because if this is your ideal work scenario, life work scenario with your ideal client, right? This is ideally about you self-actualizing yourself, right? So with Maslow, and I'm getting to navigating, no worries, right? Maslow, for example, as we talked about, this is about you self-actualizing yourself. So I want to invite you to constantly be thinking about, as I'm telling you the business building basics, right? You also have the layer superimposed on this about who you are in the biggest sense you can imagine. Your higher self, your most actualized self. Because I want your business to serve you. I want you to serve your purpose in your business, so your purpose serves you. I want you to have ultimate fulfillment, right? As your coach and your mentor, right? But as the coach, right? As the ICF would even say, I partner with you to tap into, right? Your highest potential. We want to create together, right? Transform whatever it is so that you can live your fullest potential. So me going through the basics about how to create a business without inviting you to constantly be tapping in to your deepest, fullest potential, I would be doing a disservice in my service to you. So I want you to be real and invite you to just really live here, right? So I'm inviting you to think about, what would your highest self want as you navigate this, right? So the grandest version, the greatest version, the highest version, whatever language that is for you, right? The greatest version of you in the greatest vision of your life, right? You can think of. So this is about the version or vision of you and of your life. And we want this business to get you there. Right? So that's why I'm so excited when I see you pulling out and showing me your brand mood boards that are a reflection, right? A kind of a reflection that you're going to get ready to send out. And so that you can really embody it and get clear on it and feel solid in it, right? Like inner authority shield made you feel one sense of solidity, solidness. And now, when you created your brand mood boards, another level, hopefully, you felt and could embody, right? And so I want you to be able to go back and look now. So step one of a homework would be go back, and I'll just put these in like a parking lot. Number one is check in, okay? So I'm going to say check in. Check in with your inner authority shield. Second, check in with your mood board, right? That's messy, I'm sorry, but I'm doing the best on these pain pills I can. Oh my God. Okay, so you're checking in with your higher self. If your higher self were to look at that authority shield, if your higher self were to look at that brand mood board, what's missing? What's here, right? Only you know this, and I can't tell you that content in context to how you're going to be putting yourself out there. But if you want to be attracting or creating the highest version of your life and the highest version of becoming the highest version of you in that life, that's what needs to be included in this. So that when you send it out, that's what you attract back, right? So that's where I want to take you today. So I'm going to spend another 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how fast I go with all of this, on giving you some more context, okay? So when I talk about navigational positioning, we're talking two-dimensional, and depending on where you're at, what you've studied, how you see the world, we could get in here to three-dimensional, fourth dimension, 5-dimension, right? So this would be a good time to go back and look at things like, how do you work that way? Do you work, fourth dimensionally? What's your relationship with time? Do you, if you've done like Course of Miracles or anything like that, and you like or practice the practice of kind of defying space or time, letting go, let's say, of any limiting beliefs about how fast you can manifest something, how fast you can experience something. Okay, so playing with the dimension of time. Also in the 5D, and if this isn't making sense to you, that's okay, just bear with me. If anything that's needed will come to you, and you can just let the rest go. But also, how do you work in that spiritual dimension? How do you work in a way that you transcend or ascend through perceptions of how you see the world, right? So if you've done any super high level assessments on yourself, any deeper work like that, that would involve 4D, 5D, time to bring some of those things in. And are they reflective on your inner authority shield? Are they showing up in your mood board? Because that's, or are you at least embodying that, from the behind the scenes of your business? Because what I would love this to be for you is the ultimate coach soulpreneur quest of reaching or experiencing the highest level, the most fullest level of self-actualization you can through this project of ours. Some will come right away and some will come through time. As a practice of entrepreneurial enlightenment, right? Enlightenment is knowingness. Some would refer to it as reaching a state of bliss, right? The more knowingness, so all the things you know, all your knowledge, all the things you know, really wise to be applying it all, because this is your walk, right? And so as you felt, I felt solid when I did my authority shield, right? Or I felt solid when I did my mood board. You are reaching different stages of enlightenment on your path. You are shedding light on who you are. You are experiencing all-knowingness. Think about it. When you created those and you had that unstoppable feeling of ecstatic bliss, you are feeling those moments of enlightenment. If you do any consciousness map work, you're feeling those higher states of being and of consciousness. And so the more you tap in and do that deep work here and have your branding reflect it, you don't have to say, I'm an enlightened being. You don't have to shout it out to people. It's about how you walk and how you talk without saying those kind of words sometimes, right? I mean, I will tell you, when I have the building blocks, for example, because I do use those, right? When you get to engagement and you have nonstop people coming to you in the marketing bridge, so to speak, that color yellow in my brand, here it is. Pantone calls it enlightenment. It is actually called that, my yellow, right? So it's for a reason. Like, I want you to feel and reach that level of your own personal self-actualization and enlightenment through this work. This really is deep work, right? So fast track, deep dive, high vibe work. So the more we can put all three of those layers in this work, I think the best for you to really get the power out of everything you can in this course. So I want to talk just a little bit more about what I mean by high vibe. So here's another thing about this high vibe. It's not just that it's a reflection of the highest version of yourself in your life that you can attain through this as a facilitation to help you get there. It's about vision, okay? And yes, we're visioning for your business, but we're also doing that in a way that we're visioning for your personal life. So way back in the beginning when I was saying, what's your ideal life? Still, please keep taking the time to go revisit that, because that will reflect and connect back into this. So when we start to be thinking about your offers, which will be coming up again, we're going to be connecting all these things, you know, your social media, but also your behind the scenes offers. You're going to get ready to launch all this stuff. So we really want you to be really clear on what is that vision that you hold for yourself at your highest, like most ideal version and vision you have for your life. Because that's going to reflect in your mindset and your imagination, who you're imagining can come as far as your ideal clients, right? Your ideal schedule, your ideal lifestyle, all of that. And as we know, as being coaches, it's not just the one chunk of the wheel, just business, right? It's personal, it's recreational, social, I mean, it's all your pieces, right? Go revisit your wheels, right? The thing is we can only manifest what we can imagine, okay? Manifestation comes from our imagination. So we want to be really visioning out what we want to be experiencing. And we want to vision what is that highest aspect of ourselves, okay? So if you have been thinking about throughout your whole life, like, I have a calling, I have a purpose, what is my purpose, what is my calling, that kind of thing, you know, I just want to invite you to bring in any of those pieces here. So if you have any old doodles, journal writing, volumes of notes on napkins, I mean, any of that stuff, bring it all out. Keep revisiting all that stuff. It's like these breadcrumbs throughout time that different aspects of yourself, maybe highest self, however you want to look at this, have been communicating to you. So bring all that out, and it could just be that you'll have language sitting right there that you can revisit. And if you're somewhat more newer to this, I would invite you to keep track of all of this, and you'll keep being revisiting of it. So I wanted to just jump back a little more then to give you a couple more analogies. Apologize, I'm really getting some chills here from my meds. So here's the deal. I want to talk about the power of the authority shield and the mood board. I'm going to give a couple of analogies about this. We also did some work. Oh, no, first I'll just tell it to you a little bit differently. Okay. I attract magicians, so I'm just going to talk a little bit on that language, because you're all in some way, shape, or form, some sort of different type of magician or wizard, usually, if you've come to me. Also, if you are a coach, you are a transformation agent. Again, wizardry and magicianry, okay? So I want to throw in a couple of analogies that I think will probably hit home when we talk about how important the authority shield and the mood board shield are. These are just not fluff projects, okay? All right, I'm going to call out the idea of the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone, okay? With the work we've done here, we've tapped into the center stones that are the foundation of your practice, your business, yourself, your life, and what you're creating, right? Now, in the sense of launching our business, we've talked about this kind of foundation, right? We've talked about who your clients, what you're going to offer, what they want, how that's going to look, and then engagement, right? Which will create transformation and enlightenment once we get here. All right. Well, I'm spending a lot of time on the bottom foundation piece, which is your who, right? And we've talked about how your who is a reflection of their who. And when you put yourself out a specific way, you're going to get yourself back. This is one self here. Like, this is like one love, one self kind of philosophy, right? Of like, you're going to be attracting another version of yourself who's probably just a couple steps behind, so to speak. So we're going to spend a little more time in that foundational place when I talk today. So the whole deal about Philosopher's Stone or Sorcerer's Stone, right, is like, that's the power gem, the place that has all the power, the thing that has all the power, like, if you could just get that stone of enlightenment, you will have all the knowingness and all the bliss, right? It's even been said throughout legends that finding a way to get to the Sorcerer's Stone is the magnum opus, right? The great work. Ding, 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 ding. That's what you're doing. Like, you're doing your great work. This is your magnum opus, right? Like, this whole gig you're creating, like, the core of it, it is your Philosopher's Stone. I mean, it is your Sorcerer's Stone. It's your magic. So your one way that helps you traverse the universe. Bing! Your shortcut method, right? Literally, your shortcut, your fast track, deep dive, high vibe way is different than anybody else's. So like, those three components are really huge, right? People want to get to their result fast. Depth. You got the depth that's different than anybody else's depth. You got the high that's different than anybody else's, that perspective, right? And when you put all three of those in, behind your signature method, behind your branding, behind your offer, behind how you show up on screen, I mean, all of it. Power, right? Power. To bring in another analogy about this, if you think about that stone being like the center stones, like even like the core values of your company. Remember when we did this? We looked at your expertise, and we looked at, I probably wrote that wrong. We talked about 6 different categories that all together helped to strengthen the core, right? Your expertise. I want to give you a couple analogies that have, just like the Philosopher's Stone and the Sorcerer's Stone that we've seen like historically in legend, and that has been like the high priest or the high priestess, and they have a breastplate. They have this breastplate. It's so similar, like, right, to the authority shield, and to the mood board is like another shield, right? It's like a beacon of what you stand for, right? And so, those the high priest and the high priestess, they too were all about helping to achieve enlightenment. So I just really want to hope that this hits home again about, I think you and I know this is bigger. This is bigger work than building a coaching business. You are building a vehicle for transformation. And there's a lot of change going on right now on the planet, right? And so the more you can articulate your language, that's going to help, like a laser light, just be a beacon, so that those people who will resonate with you in the special way that is your fast track, deep dive, high vibe way will bring them, because they too want the fast track, deep dive, high vibe way, right? I mean, that's my language, right? Actually, I just updated my website and my profile. I think my profile on Insta says that now. So, you'll figure out your own language, but that's what I'm talking about here, okay? So before I give you the social media templates, I want you to really realize, as we're going to be self-actualizing, right? Really realize that it's important for you to be present about what this work really is for you, and how you can access those deeper levels, that depth, so that the images you go looking for, the colors you use, the text, the animations, the textures, all those things that are going to be expressed through you with your what you put out in social media, or the words, right? When we can do more handshaking and having more eye contact in person with networking and all that stuff, you know, it's what you're going to bring. It's what you're going to bring when you make connections with people, whether it's in person or virtually, right? So basically, again, to kind of just recap, just what I wanted to hone here is that we're moving from inner authority positioning to a big picture navigational positioning, okay? So when we do this, okay, when we do this, you are going to be using your branding, using your video, your text, anything that you're putting out as an extension of you. You are still positioning, okay? You're positioning to heal limiting beliefs from your past. You are positioning, like saying it is so, showing up in the most relevant, best version of yourself, right? Positioning yourself to create the future you want. Positioning yourself to attract the people who need you, who will then strengthen and fortify the work you're doing and make it so, right? So you are navigating and using your positioning to navigate yourself through time and space in a way that you are constantly actualizing an evolving version of yourself, and connecting with and serving an ever-evolving version of the people that you want to reach and impact and influence, right? And so as you are navigationally positioning yourself, this is all an energy exchange too, right? And so if you're doing chakra work, like this is all about opening to the energy and then bringing it back down into manifestation, right? Maybe you do work with flower of life. Maybe you do whatever those holistic practices are, meditation, you know, whatever it is that you use, like bring them all in full on, right? And these are tools, these are discovery tools, these are artifactual tools that will also evolve. So let's not ever get stuck in that mindset of like, this is the end all be all. Every single thing we put out there is relative, right? I just changed my bio on my Insta a couple days ago, again, to reflect where I am, right? It's always going to be changeable. So your mood board, you can always go in and change. You can make 220, 221. You can make a 2022. Just keep it, you know, keep these adjustable, right? You're going to be changing and changing as you go. And we'll be testing as we go. But what we don't want to be doing is just constantly throwing stuff out to see what lands in the trial and error approach. And that's what I find happens in the whole, you know, mundane business building bullshit that I see the gurus putting out there, right? You have all the special answers that make you completely unique. And so I want you to be so solid in all that is, so that when you do tweaks, they're just little tiny variables that you're testing and tweaking at a time to see what happens, right? And so you're fine-tuning yourself. And then just that will help you to navigate better. Like a little fine-tuning your languaging might bring more likes, or might bring more engagement, or might bring more sign-ups, right? It's not completely changing something completely like trial and error, okay? So I want you to go back before I give us some templates and some strategy on what social media you're going to look at. So next, there's going to be a rubric to help you to hone in on your strategy, what strategy might be best with social media. I know you've already done the audit, so you already know what you think you have set. You already have an idea of where you think you're going. And then, and I know what templates it looks like you guys are going to need based on what it feels like you want to play with. And I'll be getting you those. But you basically have a little rubric that will be helping you to know what your plan is with your strategy. And then more mindfulness, right? I just want to invoke more mindfulness and more awareness. I want to challenge you, positively challenge you when you start to work with the templates. And I'll talk to you more about them at our class tomorrow. But about being high vibe when you do it, coming from the highest aspect of yourself that you can imagine, right? With your fast track, laser-like way to get the people and to get your work out there, okay? High vibe, fast track, sorry, I'm losing it. Deep dive, all right? Yeah, also bringing the depth, not being scared to really show that authenticity that lies in your deepness, okay? Because that is what's going to also help you to do the navigational, the navigational, I'm going to say pinpointing, right? Laser focus, pinpointing, right? So, all right, so that's that. I just wanted to really hone in and take a moment to pause and have you guys reflect on all this stuff. And as I end, I just want to say what came up for you, right? Like, what did you notice as I was sharing these ideas? Note them. What showed up? What came to the surface for you? What did you notice, right? From that, what do you want to take forward as a reminder? What do you want to take forward that you want to do before you dive into looking at some templates, some social media templates that you are not going to have to send out? We're just going to be creating some. We're just going to go get creative and playful before we do any blanketing. But what did you notice? What came up for you? What ideas do you have that you want to bring forward after what you heard? Just tell yourself. If you want to drop me an email, you can, but just bring it. You can just bring it to our next call, which will be our group call tomorrow.